Hello. My name is Abdurrashid, and today I'm gonna talk about probability. Probability, first of all, what is this? Probability is a study of uncertainty and randoms. It helps to measure how likely a certain event is to happen. Use probability all of the time in real life. Sometimes without it, nothing. Probability measures how likely an event to occur. For example, 60% of chance of serving pricing on Yandex Taxi. Um, that is a probability being used in a real situation for your life, not only for everyone. Probability gives us the way to understand and manage uncertainty, whether it's predicting the weather, estimating risks, or making smarter choices in daily life. Experiment an action with an uncertain outcome. For example, checking if the bus arrives exactly at a point, not معلش كتبت like 8.10. The outcome may or not happen, but can still analyze the possible using probability. An experiment is an action that leads to an uncertain outcome. We cannot predict the result with full certainty, even if you know what it might happen. Sample space. All possible outcomes of an experiment. The sample space is how can says all the outcomes of an experiment. Without knowing its sample space, we cannot calculate probability. For example, before an exam, my own sample space of moods could be relaxed, nervous, stressed, or confident. By listening all the possible, we get a rich, clear picture of what can happen, and that outcomes our foundation. Events. An event is a specific outcome or group of outcomes that we are interested in. For example, the event arriving early to class depends on many possible outcomes. When I wake up, how fast I get ready, which taxis are available. Events help us to focus on the outcomes that matter for our particular question. They can be simple, like rolling a fall, or more complex, like getting a high grade on an exam. I think you understand. Equally likely outcomes. All outcomes have the uh, same chance of happening. These ideas allow us to simple probability formulas. For example, I choose a snake randomly for 4 options in a vending machine. Each snake has a 1 out of 4 probability. When outcomes are radically equally likely, probability becomes easier to calculate and understand. Basic probability rules. As you can see here, formulas, probability formulas. First probability always fall between 0 and 1. Nothing can be less than impossible or than can be second. Second, all probabilities together must add to 1. For example, the probability that I drink a coffee drink made out is 1 because there are days when I don't eat. These rules make sure that probability calculator can consist. Mutually exclusive events. Mutually exclusive events are cannot occur at the same time. For example, I cannot be both late and on time for class. Just use one or other. If events are mutually exclusive, their probability simply add together. Understanding this helps avoid double counting when working with the probabilities. Addition rule. The addition rules help us to calculate the probability of A or B happening. If the events are mutually exclusive, as you can see a formula, but if they overlap, we must subtract the intersection to avoid counting it twice. For example, the probability that I buy a tea or latte today might overlap because some days I buy both. So, in non-excluded cases, we subtract the overlap. Next slide, the complement rule. The complement rule says that probability of event not can happening is 1 minus the probability of it happening. As you can see formula, P not A equal minus P skopje A. For example, how can I say the probability that I don't miss a pass equals 1 minus the probability that I miss it. Classroom preparamento, Condition probability. Condition probability tells us the probability of an event happening given another event has already happened. For example, probability that I arrive early given that I wake up late is very low. Condition probability is widely used in medicine, finance, marketing, and any decision-making problems. It helps to us to see how one event affects another one. Multiplication rule. The multiplication rule is used to to calculate the probability of two events occurring together. As you can see, formulas. This one. An example. The chances that I get a coffee and arrive early depends on the whether I find a taxi fast enough. This is rule essential in real-world situations, where events are completely connected by each one. Bayes' rule. Bayes' rule, what can be help? It helps us to update the probability when the information becomes really available. For example, if I had a RAM that exam is easy, I update my expectations based on how a reliable source is. Bayes' rule used to artificial intelligence, medical diagnosis, or fraud detections, and etc. It's one of the most popular tools in probability. Next one, this finish one, continuous tables. A continuous table shows us how two variables are related. It helps us calculate the joint, marginal, and conditional probabilities. For example, age, groups versus morning class and attendance. For example, table might show the relationship between age, groups, attendance at morning. Contingency tables make complex relationship much easier to visualize and analyze it, especially when working with a large groups of data. This is end. I think we can finish with that. Thank you for your attention.